Hello, everyone. Sorry for my froggy voice. I've been waking up with really sore throat lately, and I don't know why, but my garlic pills are not doing it. Anyway, I digress. So, I have to talk about what in the world happened between yesterday, and it hasn't even been 24 hours since Powell did his little speechy speech and talked about his intended plan to continue to increase interest rates. And then this black swan, meaning major, unpredictable event. Um, and what happened? So basically, I'm going to talk about SPY, the S&P 500, and Forex. So in this case, looking specifically at the US dollar versus the pound yen, so the USD JPY pair. Because it dropped off a cliff last night when I was sleeping, and that did affect a trade I had. But nobody could have predicted this news unless they had inside information or anything, because Japan decided to intervene in the same way that the Fed in the United States has been intervening to kind of alleviate some of the weakness that's been happening day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute with the pound yen. So they're noticing that their currency is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And so they decided to intervene. And how do they intervene? They bought the yen. They poured money into their market. So as you can see here by this article on the Wall Street Journal, that has not happened in 24 years. So that is a huge news event. And it's bullish for the yen, but for the US dollar, it's a little bit bearish, in my opinion, because they're trying to make sure that the yen doesn't continue to lose strength, which it just has been consistently, and they have done nothing, and now they're basically thinking we have to do something, and they haven't made a decision like that, as you saw, in 24 years. Okay, so let's look at what happened last night while I was sleeping. This news came out because Japan is in the future. Time zone is way ahead of us. It dropped so much. I believe the calculation was around 380 pips in 1 hour, from 145.791 all the way down to the, sorry, I gotta move myself to see this, to the 140s. Oh my goodness, that is insane. The volume in that candle is crazy. Now, what that means, though, is because we're looking at a currency pair, it's not just like the stock market dropping. It is a measure of the strength of two. So that means that in this candle, it showed the US dollar when the Bank of Japan went and intervened and purchased all this yen, lost this much strength. So it went bearish. It was a huge bearish candle. And the yen actually gained strength, because you're always looking at this when you're looking at Forex currency pairs. You're looking at the strength of the first pair versus the weakness of the second pair. So in this case, this is showing the weakness of the US dollar and the strength of the yen. Now, if it was the yen first in this pair, then it would be showing the weakness of the yen versus the strength of the US dollar. So there you go. That's what happened. Let's see. This was 6 hours ago. Okay. Market just opened. How SPY reacted to that 6 hours ago. So it wasn't as dramatic. SPY was kind of doing its own thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of just stayed here. So it's interesting because lately I've been seeing some instances where SPY and the US dollar are moving both in an uptrend, and usually it's quite the opposite. They inverse each other. So that was interesting, but SPY definitely fell off of its own cliff, but its cliff was not as dramatic as the USD JPY. Now, let's look at the other pair that would be majorly affected by this currency pair, which is the GBP, Great British Pound yen, by this news. So here we go. Same, just fell off a cliff, and its recovery hasn't been as much as the USD JPY. but that cliff was definitely created with that news. Now let me show you how I traded this. So what I did, and I was actually looking in a smaller time frame when I was planning my trade, and I figured that there was some bottoming here. So I bought at one. Hold on a second. I'm gonna move myself again. It's not moving me, but I bought in at 141.16, and then I sold when it popped up here in the 141.90. So it's a pretty nice trade. I think I was in the trade about time is it now? About 30 minutes, so it's pretty quick turnaround. And yeah, I saw such a big opportunity for it to start to, let's go out to the 1 hour time frame, it to make some type of recovery. And as you can see here, definitely not as big because this candle would eat this candle, but there was a lot of bullish buying volume in this 1 hour candle. So from 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. That is when I did my trade. I figured that in the stock market, there's opening hours in the market. There's also usually a lot of volume in Forex. And so I figured with news like this, there'd be a lot of volume because as you can see here, volume was pumped into the market and a lot of the U.S. market, everyone would be waking up. People would want to see the U.S. dollar recover and try to see if it can start to fill some gaps back because this was a dramatic move. So that was my initial plan. I don't know if long term, if the Bank of Japan continues to do this, it's going to get really interesting because, as I said before, they have not done this in 2 decades. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, the trend that we've seen, let's go to the daily, with if they continue to do this with the U.S. dollar pound, or U.S. dollar pound, U.S. dollar yen is not so straightforward. Before, what I liked about it is I knew because of the market, the U.S. market, say SPY, going down, that it was pretty consistently on an uptrend, and knowing that Japan wasn't doing anything, like the yen would just, and the Japanese economy would continue to be very stagnant. But now we have a spanner in the works, so this is very interesting. The positive side of it is that it's creating volatility, which can be great for trades and scalps, but it's a little bit harder to predict now which direction. So we will see. Now I'm going to be rethinking my trading plan and watching this closer because this was a major event that was not predictable. So in this case, technical analysis may not always work. There was no technical analysis that would have told me, oh, Japan is going to drop a bomb of news about pumping money into the yen. Technical analysis will not give you that. That's very fundamental news, and as you can see, it was huge for the price action, and it affected the pair greatly. So anyway, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Japan's going to continue to support the yen? How do you think this is going to affect the Forex markets in the future? How long will this last? All right, see you later. Bye.